Idubbbz was someone who, a few years ago, seemed almost untouchable within the eyes of the YouTube community. The man quite literally made a career for himself by criticizing other creators, and justifiably so because they were terrible people. So who could have possibly predicted that the last person he ever took down would be himself? So we all know who Idubbbz is, right? One of the OG commentary channels from 2016. The Content Cop, if you remember. Massive YouTuber, over 7 million subscribers. For a good few years, this guy was one of the most respected figures in all of YouTube, mainly for his commentary on bad actors on the platform. I myself was a pretty big fan of his content back in the day. I watched every Content Cop, I watched his bad unboxing videos, and he was just one of my favorite YouTubers during the 2016 era of YouTube, back with Filthy Frank and Max Mofo and the like. And whether or not you liked the content or not being produced during that time, there's no denying just how popular those guys were back in the day. And a lot of them were known for their very edgy and offensive humor. That being said though, a lot of those guys have slowly drifted away from that sort of content. Max Mofo kinda just makes random content with anything for views nowadays. Filthy Frank outright quit to pursue a music career and he's now a global star. However, when it comes to Idubbbz, he's had more of a shaky transition when it comes to his content. He started making documentaries and really weird squirrel videos at some point. Additionally, he has slowly started losing the good reputation he previously had, mainly due to his association with his wife Anissa Jama. However, that's a topic that's worth an entire video on its own, so I'm not gonna get too deep into that. So to summarize it in the briefest way possible, his wife is basically a really dumb ethot with an OnlyFans, and Idubbbz has been slowly building a reputation as a simp simply due to the fact that she has his balls in such a tight grip that they might as well rename his testicles to the Holy Sword Excalibur. Anissa is something of a progressive activist if I had to put a label on her. So naturally, since they're married, Ian has started to, you know, mellowed out over the years. No big deal, it's just a natural thing in life. When you hang around someone for a long periods of time, their mannerisms and feelings are eventually gonna rub off on you. You're not gonna agree on everything, but more often than not, you'll find even ground most of the time. And this meant Idubbbz would slowly start to shy away from his older, edgier content. But unlike people like Ethan Klein, Idubbbz has mostly been able to avoid coming off as a pretentious holier-than-thou faggot who just morally grandstands all the time. At least until recently, because he just uploaded a video where he was basically, well, denouncing himself. Now I could just summarize his whole video and mock him, but I figured we should go through a few crucial moments within the video, and then I'll just give my thoughts and opinions on the points he's making. I'll leave a link to the full thing in the description below, so go check it out if you're interested.
For a while, I felt like if I changed my content over time, that people would see that as a reflection of who I am and what I value. But I'm starting to realize that that is a very weak and passive way to, you know, run my channel and live my life. So I think it's, you know, if I'm gonna have the balls to go to Tana's fan meetup and say slurs at her and then make a video about how it's okay to say slurs, I think I should have the balls to make an apology video and take accountability for the mistakes I've made. So that's what this video.
So right off the bat, it seems like he's just ripping off the band-aid immediately. This is officially him departing from his old audience. Like, before this, it was kind of like implied or like speculated that he was no longer in with the edgy stuff anymore, but now this is him making it officially clear that, yeah, I'm done with that shit, I'm not gonna do that anymore, and I don't want to make that sort of content, nor do I, you know, want to be around that audience anymore. And despite what you might think, I'm completely okay with that. I don't care if he wants to stop making that sort of content or even just want to change his content altogether, because you know, as someone who makes YouTube videos, who makes content in and of itself, the thought of making the same kind of content over and over again is fucking dreadful in my mind. Obviously I have this channel right here where I upload like low effort, really dog shit commentary videos, but I have a main channel as well where I upload video essays, and I'm constantly trying to switch things up. I'm always trying to learn new techniques, new ways to make videos, and new topics there. So yeah, I completely understand not wanting to make the same content over and over again, and I completely understand if you want to distance yourself from the edgy shit as well. You know, despite people making fun of the "we grew up" argument, I myself still find really offensive and edgy humor to be funny, but who knows, maybe in 5 or maybe 2 years I might not find it funny anymore. It's really just all up to how you develop as a person, and people do change. That's just the way of life. What I don't agree with, however, is this next point.
I am responsible for creating a lot of hurtful and damaging content on this channel, and I've also created a culture of apathy and, I don't know, a lot of like cruelty as well. Like, you know, some of the videos I've made have been very not edgy. I don't think they you know, some of these videos were edgy. I think they were just outright cruel. So I don't want people to, you know, get it confused about, you know, where I stand. I have made some cruel, hurtful content, and I need to acknowledge that, and I'm really sorry that it's taken me this long to acknowledge it. I was morally grandstanding and acting as if I am any better than any of these people that I was making content cop videos on, and I'm not. I'm a human, I'm a real human who makes mistakes, and you know, I make a different set of mistakes than the people I was making videos on, but it doesn't matter. I don't think anyone deserves that level of cruelty or hate. It's also indoctrinated a lot of people into thinking that this is an okay way to behave, and it's not. It's super irresponsible and shitty.
Idubbbz seems to think that his old content indoctrinates the youth. He thinks it pushes a bad message and it turns kids into Nazis. I find this way of thinking to be both stupid and at the same time incredibly pretentious. You made those videos with the purposes of entertainment. You weren't trying to push any sort of message. You were just, you know, making the best kind of videos that you can, and you used edgy humor to make it entertaining because that's what was popular back in the time. I myself found his content back in the day when I was a teenager in high school, and I saw it for what it was, just edgy satire, not meant to be taken seriously. I know I wasn't supposed to act like a loud retard in public. I knew not to scream slurs out in the open. It was just stupid, dumb, edgy jokes made for entertainment purposes. Like, bro, you're not that important. You're a YouTuber making stupid YouTube videos. You're not indoctrinating people. You're not turning them into Nazis. Get the fuck over yourself.
I know that this apology isn't enough. I've clearly done a lot of damage. You know, these videos have been up for a long time and have accumulated millions of views. I shouldn't be able to just make an apology video and walk away from it. This is something that I should live the rest of my life with, and I expect to. I've profited off of this bigoted content for years, and I've made a successful career out of it, and that's not right. I think that this is only a step in the right direction, and I know that a lot more needs to be done to even approach a life that I would think would be like acceptable.
This dude is acting like he fucking killed people or something. Like, bro, you made a YouTube video. You made a YouTube video. You didn't commit a Holocaust or whatever. You literally made a YouTube videos. You said some slurs. That's it. Like, bro, what is this whole thing about carrying this burden, this sin for the rest of your life? Like, this is really, really gay. You're being so fucking gay right now.
And for anyone who liked those videos, I want this video to be an example and a lesson for you. You know, you can like content, but you can also think that it's irresponsible and it's hurting other people. So just tap into that part of your brain that's saying like, oh, okay, it's probably not that important that this video stays online, because truthfully, I've seen it, I've experienced the content, but it's done a lot of damage. We can just let it go. I'm sorry to everyone that I made content cop videos on. I still don't like the majority of you, and that's fine, but I can recognize that you did not deserve the hate and harassment that I sent your way. I particularly want to apologize to Tana, Tana, I'm sorry. I should have never made that video. I'm also sorry to all the black viewers and minority groups who had to put up with that video and put up with, you know, the phrases. I said either it's all okay or none of it's okay. And that's just so dangerous and stupid.
Another thing I don't agree with is the idea that he's responsible for his audience. Like, I disagree with that so much on like a fundamental level. Like, let's use me for an example. I make commentary videos where I talk about other content creators and whatever, you know, they get up to. I don't do this with the intention of trying to harass them or trying to hurt them in any way. I just think that talking about it would be really good for entertainment purposes because some of the shit they are doing is entertaining, and talking about it, I feel, is entertaining as well. Obviously, it's good to take measures by telling them to not go and harass these people you're talking about. You know, it's probably best to actively disavow harassment or any sort of negative thing that your audience does, but ultimately, you're not responsible for what a bunch of random people on the internet decide to do on your behalf. Like, that's just them being retarded. There's always going to be retarded people out there, there's always going to be bad actors, and ultimately, you are just not responsible for the actions of a bunch of retards who can't understand that you're just doing the things you do on screen for entertainment purposes. Obviously, there are limits to this. You should actively, you know, disavow bad behavior. However, if it's just, you know, saying a slur or like making an edgy joke, then you're not fucking responsible for what happens afterwards. This whole narrative that we need to be more responsible with our content and think about the kind of audience you're fostering is a really gay mentality to adopt. This is gonna get me a lot of hate, but I'm a free speech absolutist. I think people should be allowed to say whatever they want on the internet. I'm pro free speech, pro freedom of expression. If people want to make an edgy joke for the purposes of entertainment, then I think they should be allowed to do that. But what about the children? It's not my or any other creator's responsibility about what your kid fucking watches, alright? It's your responsibility. They're your fucking kids. If you don't want your kids exposed to this stuff, take away their internet, monitor their online browsing more. I don't fucking know. It's not the creator's responsibility to censor themselves for the sake of your child. It's your responsibility to raise and monitor your damn kids. Take some fucking accountability for once in your goddamn life. But that's basically the crux of the video. He basically spends the whole time just lynching his old self for all of his past actions. He tells a couple of anecdotes about how he, you know, met the kind of people he was fostering as fans back in the day, and he didn't like what he was seeing, and that was a big wake-up call to him and all that shit. And, you know, again, I don't care if he doesn't like to be edgy anymore. For those of you who are saying, oh, you just hate him now because he won't say the N-word on screen anymore. No, motherfucker, that's not the point. That's really not the point. I don't care. I really don't care if he doesn't want to say the N-word anymore. If he just made a video saying, hey, I don't like doing that anymore, I don't want to associate with that kind of content anymore, it's just not enjoyable to me, and I don't want to do it anymore, I'd be completely fine. I would have no issues. I would even defend him if he was getting shit. But instead, he goes on this long tangent about how he's committed grave sins and how he turns people into Nazis and he has this responsibility. Like, no, bro. No. You're a fucking YouTuber making stupid videos on the internet. Get over yourself. You're so fucking gay. You know, for someone who hates himself for morally grandstanding apparently in the past, you're doing a lot of morally grandstanding in this damn video. And that's basically my whole point. I don't care if Idubbbz wants to change his content. I don't care if he doesn't want to, you know, say the N-word on screen anymore. I literally just hate the fact that he's painting himself as more important than he actually is. I think he's being really gay about the whole thing. He could have just said he wasn't interested in making that sort of content anymore, but instead, he goes on this really long tirade, and it's really just, you fell off so hard, man. It's actually sad. But anyway, yeah, that's pretty much all I had to say. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you all next time. Bye-bye.